All right, let's jump right in. For the longest time, the deal between a business and its customers was, well, pretty straightforward. The business talked, and everyone else just listened. But then social media came along and completely tore up that old playbook. So today, we're going to break down how that entire relationship has been flipped on its head, from a one-way monologue to a real, dynamic, two-way conversation.
Think about it like this. We've gone from the age of the megaphone, where companies would just blast out these slow, perfectly controlled corporate messages, to the age of the conversation. Now it's all about a two-way dialogue. It's real-time, it's dynamic, and it's driven by a community voice where the customer actually talks back. And let me tell you, this isn't just a small tweak, it's a whole new universe for communication.
So let's start with the revolution itself. I mean, platforms that literally didn't even exist 2 decades ago, we're talking TikTok, Instagram, X, they become absolutely central to how modern business works. They have fundamentally rewritten the rules of the game. And here is the absolute key. The main goal has totally shifted. Yep, promotion is still part of it, of course. But the real power of social media for any brand today, it's the ability to build genuine long-term connections. It's about creating an identity that people actually care about. It's a huge move from just making transactions to building real relationships.
This brings us right to our first major point, crafting that digital identity. So how do businesses actually use these platforms to build a brand that you're going to remember, one that you actually connect with?
Well, this whole process really rests on a few key pillars. First off, you get instant, global visibility for a tiny fraction of what old-school advertising used to cost. Then you can keep your brand messaging consistent, your voice, your values, all of it. But here's the magic. You also get dynamic feedback from your audience in real time, which lets you adapt and build these deep emotional connections with your community.
You know, a great way to think about it is that platforms like Instagram and TikTok have become our modern-day campfires. They're the place where brands gather their community to share stories, not with boring press releases, but with awesome visuals and content that really, truly resonates with people.
And one of the most powerful tools in this new world, it's something called user-generated content, or UGC. This is any content, reviews, photos, videos, created by your actual customers, not you. It's raw, it's authentic, and it works as incredibly persuasive social proof. In fact, consumers are more than twice as likely to see user-generated content as authentic compared to anything a brand creates itself.
So the big takeaway here is this. Your happiest customers can become your most powerful marketers. And why is that? Because we just trust what our friends and peers say way more than some polished corporate ad. When a friend recommends something, it just hits differently, you know? That's the power of UGC in a nutshell.
All right, so let's build on that, because this is way more than just marketing. We're talking about a genuine two-way street where communication flows freely in both directions. This is the key question that every single brand has to ask itself. It's so easy to fall back into that old habit of just broadcasting your message. But the real value, the gold, comes from listening. I'm talking reading the comments, responding to DMs, and actually joining the conversations that are already happening.
And you see this transformation crystal clear when it comes to customer service. What used to be a private email or a super frustrating phone call, a support ticket hidden from view, is now often a very public conversation, happening right on a brand's timeline for the whole world to see. And this new model, when you do it right, is incredibly powerful. So, a customer posts an issue. The brand jumps in, responds quickly and helpfully. And the result? It's not just that one happy customer. Everyone else watching sees a brand that's on it, that's transparent. That's how you build rock-solid trust and loyalty right out in the open.
Okay, so let's put this all together. What does the modern playbook for a business actually look like? Well, it's a really delicate balancing act between massive opportunity and some pretty significant risks.
On one hand, the opportunities are huge. Global reach, fierce customer loyalty, building vibrant communities. But, and this is a big but, the challenges are just as real. You've got intense competition for people's attention, the ever-present risk of a PR nightmare, and of course, navigating some very serious privacy concerns. It is a high-stakes game.
And that's exactly why just being on social media is not enough. Success is not guaranteed. It absolutely requires a thoughtful, strategic, and frankly, a moral approach. Without that foundation, the risks can easily outweigh the rewards, making any kind of long-term success pretty much impossible.
So as we wrap this up,
I want to leave you with a question to chew on. We've seen the shift from the megaphone to the conversation. But as these platforms keep evolving, what's the next step? In a world where we are always connected, what does a truly authentic relationship between a brand and its community even look like in the future?